Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gauranga ki jai, Sri Lakshmi Narasimhadev Anantadev ki jai, Srinivas Govinda ki jai, Krishna Balaram ki jai, Radha Krishna Chandra ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 6, Text 3. Nayatra Shravanadini Raksho Gnani Swakarmasu Kurvanti Sattvatam Bhartur Yatu Dhanyascha Tatrahi. Nayatra Shravanadini Raksho Gnani Swakarmasu Kurvanti Sattvatam Bhartur Yatu Dhanyascha Tatrahi. Nayatra Shravanadini Shognani Swakarmasu Kurvanti Sattvatam Bhartur Yatu Dhanyascha Tatrahi. Nayatra Shravanadini Raksho Gnani Sakarmasu Kurvanti Sattvatam Bhartur Yatu Dhanyascha Tatrahi. Nayatra Shravanadini Raksho Gnani Swakarmasu Kurvanti Sattvatam Bhartur Yatu Dhanyascha Tatrahi. What two word meaning? Na, not, yatra, wherever, Shravanadini, the activities of Bhakti Yoga, beginning with hearing and chanting, Rakshagnani, the sound vibration to kill all danger and bad elements. Swakarmasu, if one is engaged in his own occupational duty. Kurvanti, such things are done. Sattvatam Bhartuhu, of the protector of the devotees. Yatu Dhanyaha, disturbing elements. bad elements, cha, also, tatrahi, there must be. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. My dear King, wherever people in any position perform their occupational duties of devotional service by chanting and hearing, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho, there cannot be any danger from bad elements. Therefore, there was no need for anxiety about Gokula while the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally present. Please repeat. My dear King, wherever people in any position perform their occupational duties of devotional service by chanting and hearing Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho, there cannot be any danger from bad elements. Therefore, there was no need for anxiety about Gokula while the Supreme Personality of Godhead was personally present. Purport. Sukadeva Goswami spoke this verse to mitigate the anxiety of Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit was a devotee of Krishna, and therefore when he understood that Putana was causing disturbances in Gokula, he was somewhat perturbed. Sukadeva Goswami therefore assured him that there was no danger in Gokula. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has sung, Namashraya kari yatane tumi, thakaha apana kaje. Everyone is thus advised to seek shelter in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and remain engaged in his own occupational duty. There is no loss in this, and the gain is tremendous. Even from a material point of view, everyone should take to chanting the Hare Krishna Mantra to be saved from all kinds of danger. This world is full of danger. Padam padam yad vipadam. Therefore, we should be encouraged to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra so that in our family, society, neighborhood and nation, everything will be smooth and free from danger. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Sya Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So this chapter started with Nanda Maharaj going back to Gokula, thinking about the warning of Vasudeva, who warned that there will be some dangers in Gokula. So here Sukadeva Goswami is assuring Parikshit Maharaj, because Parikshit Maharaj might be thinking, as a devotee, he is so much in love for the Lord and his devotees. Oh, what might have happened for them? So to assure Parikshit Maharaj that nothing bad can happen where there is the Lord and his holy names, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking this verse. So very interesting shloka. I'll say why, because the way Prabhupada translated is interesting. The verse itself says, Yatra means wherever. Yatra swakarmasu, by one's own occupational duty. What is the right occupational duty? hearing and chanting the holy names. With our occupational duty, if we can do the hearing and chanting, that is the right occupational duty. So, yatra swakarmasu satvatam bhartuhu shravanadini. Satvatam bhartu means, bhartu means who? One who protects, one who maintains. Satvatam bhartu means one who protects the devotees. Satvatam, Satvatam Pati, the Lord of the devotees. So, yatra swakarmasu satvatam bhartuhu shravanadini, where there is hearing and chanting of Satvatam Bhartu's holy names, which eradicate Rakshognani. Raksha means the evil elements, the Rakshasas and all that. Gnani means which decimates, or Krishna's holy names decimates these elements. So, yatra Satvatam Bhartuhu Sravanadini Rakshognani na kurvanti means where there is no chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Yatra na kurvanti tatra yatudhanyaschahi. There only yatudhanya will happen. Yatudhanya means bad elements. Ya means to go. Dha means, to hold. Dharayati, to hold. Possessing bad intent. One who goes about possessing or causing evil things to be done. These are bad elements. So, yatra na kurvanti tatra hi yatudhanyahi. So, you understood? Wherever there is no hearing and chanting of Krishna's holy names, there only the possibility of bad elements will happen. Right? But how Prabhupada translated this? Let's read the translation. Wherever people in any position perform their occupational duties of devotional service by chanting and hearing, there cannot be any danger from bad elements. So, you see, the actual intent is this. The verse itself says slightly different. Where there is no hearing and chanting, there is definitely possibility of yatudhanya. But what Prabhupada is saying, where there is chanting and hearing is going on, there is no question of bad elements. There is no question of anxiety because the Supreme Lord is personally present. So, swakarmasu, our occupational duties, in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami was mentioning to Parikshit Maharaj about what is the right occupational duty. Dharmaha swanushtitaha pumsam visvakshena kathasuyaha notpadayed yediratim, then it is Shramayevahi Kevalam. So what does it mean? Anyone like to explain what it means? Yes, very good. So by our occupational duty, if we have not come to the point of Visvakshena kathasu yaha rati. Rati means attraction. If by our occupational duty, dharmaha swadharma, na utpadayed ratim yadi visvakshena kathasu. The Krishna katha, we have not generated attachment or attraction by our occupational duties, then it is Shrama evahi kevalam. It is a useless labor. So this is the test. If somebody says, oh, you are neglecting your occupational duty. But by doing so-called occupational duty, what is the use? Naradhita yadi hari tapasa tatah kim. Aradhita yadi hari tapasa tatah kim. What does it mean? Na aradhita yadi hari. By your so-called tapasa tataha, by your austerities and your duties and so on and so forth, if you have not come to the point of what? Na aradhita. If you have not come to the point of worshipping Krishna, then what is the use of all those? But if you have already come to that platform of aradhita yadi hari, then what is the need to go through all this tapasa tataha? So one can directly take to Krishna consciousness. Of course, it doesn't mean we should leave our occupational duties, but even if one leaves, like Prabhupada explains, if one joins the temple full time, giving up his duties towards his family, Narada Muni still says, it is still all right. Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer. He gave up his swadharma and taken up to the shelter of the Lord. Charanam bhujam harer. Even though he may have done it immaturely, bhajan apakwa, he has not become pakwa. So as a result, he falls down. Atapatet tatrakva va abhadram abhut. What is abhadra in that? Abhadra means inauspiciousness. On the other hand, if you do all things, everything perfectly, ko varta apto hi abhajatam swadharmataha, what is the point if you have not come to the platform of surrendering to Lord? If you see actually in the 6th chapter, similar point is raised by Arjuna as Narada is addressing. Anyone remembers? After hearing Krishna's message in the 6th chapter, for most of the 6th chapter, Arjuna brings up a very pertinent question which is similar to the point Narada is addressing. He uses the analogy of a cloud. Anybody remembers? Can you speak a little loud? Brahmanapati. So what is the analogy of the cloud? There is a small cloud and big cloud. Now something rings in anybody's mind. So this small cloud sometimes separates, it seems, from a big cloud. A small piece of cloud branches off. And apparently it needs to go and join another big cloud. Otherwise it just can perish with a huge wind. So Arjuna's question is, Kachin no bhaya vibhrastaha chinnabhram iva nashyati. Chinna abhram means riven cloud, the cloud that has been separated. That means a devotee who is engaged in Krishna consciousness or on a spiritual path, say he falls down. So he falls down. So his question is, he has completely given up his material occupation to take up Krishna consciousness. So material occupation is gone. He has not put his focus. So he took to Krishna consciousness. But he fell down, so Krishna consciousness is also gone. So he is neither here nor there. Apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmanah pati. He fell down from Brahmana Pati, the path of Brahman, Krishna consciousness. So what is his position? So what does Krishna say to answer Arjuna's question? Nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Pardha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate
In this path, whoever has taken this path, there is no vinasha for that person. This is kalyana krit. This is the path of kalyana. Kalyana means auspiciousness. Durgatim naiva tata gacchati. There is no degradation for anybody who takes to this path, even though he may have fallen down. So to back up his statement, what does Krishna mention there? That is second chapter. It's a very good point, similar point. But Krishna says something else. Correct. So he'll be born he'll be enjoying first in heavenly planets. And then after that, he'll come back and take birth in a family of Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Abhijayate. Or if he has fallen down after a long practice, what will happen? Short practice, he will go to heavenly planets, enjoy and come back and be born in Suchinam Srimatam Gehe. If he has fallen down after a long practice, Athava Yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi durlabhataram janma. It's a very rare birth. He'll be born in the family of great devotees. So thereby Krishna says, there is no loss for a person who has taken to Krishna consciousness. Whatever happens after that, there is no loss. As he was also saying, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So on this Swakarmasu, I was reminded of one incident during Prabhupada's time. One professor or very learned person came to meet Srila Prabhupada, and he was talking to him, and he asked Prabhupada, you have given so much of literature, you have studied so much of Vedic literature, and in your point of view, if you were to tell me the summary of everything, essence of everything for me in 2 verses, what would you say? Not easy, right? Thousands of verses, volumes of literature, so much of depth of topics of Krishna consciousness. He's asked only 2 verses. You know what Prabhupada said? Any idea? Usually we think Sarvadharman Parityajya, right? Or Manmana Bhava Madbhakta, the most confidential. We could have said the same if somebody asked. But Prabhupada didn't say that. He picked 2 interesting verses from Bhagavatam. That again comes in the first canto, very next to the verse that we have, Dharmaha Svanushtitaha Pumsam. After that, he picked out 2 verses. The first one is, Dharmasya hi apavargyasya nardho ardhayopakalpate narthasya dharmaikantasya kamolabhaya hi sprutaha. So what does it mean? Dharmasya hi, dharma means whatever our occupational duty. It should be meant for apavargyasya. We all know what is apavarga. Who can tell what is apavarga? Opposite of pavarga. So these vargas are there, right, in Sanskrit. So pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. That is called pavarga. So what is pa means? Parishrama, hard labor, it's material world. Pha means hena, so hard that foam comes out of our mouth. Ba means vyardhata. Vyardhata means futility. After all that hard work, it is useless, as useless labor. Shamayev hi kevalam. Bha means bhaya. Ma means mrityu, ultimately death. This is pavarga. And apavarga means exactly the opposite. This process of Krishna consciousness is apavarga. So our dharma, occupational duty, should be dharmasya towards apavargyasya. Na ardha ardhaya upakalpate. It should not be meant for ardha, means money. Money. Ardha means it should not be used for ardha. So usually, typically they say dharma, ardha, kama, moksha. Chatuh purushartha we must have heard. So people, they think dharma or religion is meant for ardha. And ardha is meant for kama, satisfaction of our desires. And when the desires are, or either we are satisfied or when we are frustrated, moksha, become one with the Lord or become one with the impersonal effulgence. So, that is the typical ritualistic path people they mention. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But here Bhagavatam is saying dharma is not meant for that. It's meant for apavargyasya, not meant for wealth. Na ardhaya upakalpate. And then, what about kama? The next verse. Kamasya na indriya pritir labho jiveta yavata. Kama should not be for na indriya priti. Na indriya priti. Typically, we all act for, what is indriya priti? Sense gratification. Or in other words, we have desires. Bhagavatam is acknowledging that everybody has desires. Kama is there. Kama is not just lust. In this context, it means desires. We all have desires, but the desire should not be pursued after sense gratification. Na indriya pritir. Labho jiveta yavata. You can live, you can desire a healthy life of self-preservation. Labho jiveta yavata. Yavat jivet, you desire that much. But what about the zeal, the ambitions that I have, the enthusiasm that I have to go after and achieve something? What should that be used for? Jivasya tattva jignasa. What is tattva jignasa? Jignasa means inquisitiveness. For tattva means absolute truth. So the life's desires should be engaged in the pursuit of the absolute truth. Jivasya tattva jignasa natto yascheha karma bihi. There is no other purpose to our activity. So these are the two verses Prabhupada mentioned. So Prabhupada says in the purport here that where there is, Sukadeva Goswami therefore assured him that there is no danger in Gokula. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung, Namashraya kari yatane tumi thakaha apana kaje. Everyone is thus advised to seek shelter in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and remain engaged in his own occupational duty. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so we all know Haridas Thakur. So one time he goes to an assembly where there is a discussion. So the discussion was about what are the effects or the results of chanting the holy name. One party was arguing that the holy name does not necessarily grant liberation. The other party is discussing, no, the holy name grants liberation. So there is no proper conclusion. They were going on debating. This is in the house of Raghunath Das Goswami. They used, the father Hiranya Majumdar and his uncle Govardhan Majumdar, they used to conduct this kind of satsangs. So at that time Haridas Thakur enters. Just like Sukadeva Goswami enters the scene when there was no proper conclusion. When was that occasion? Parikshit Maharaj, he was in doubt what to do in the last 7 days. And Shukadeva Goswami came to resolve that. So Haridas Thakur comes to that assembly. And then he resolves the doubt. He says, what to speak of the full glory of the holy name, even by awakening of the glimpse of the pure holy name, just by the glimpse of the pure holy name, one becomes liberated. And that actually is not the goal for chanting the holy name. The goal of the holy name is to attain love for Krishna. The holy name actually takes us beyond this world and gives us love of Godhead. And so there was one gentleman, very nice Brahmana, very good looking, beautiful, young, attractive Brahmana called Gopal Chakravarti. So he says, he starts to take offense to what Haridas Thakur says. See, people, after many, many births of cultivating transcendental knowledge, working so hard, still they cannot get to liberation. And you are saying just by a slight awakening of the glimpse of the holy name, one can get liberation? And I protest. If what you are saying is wrong, your nose will fall off. Such an offensive statement. Pure devotee Haridas Thakur, this Gopal Chakravarti is speaking so offensively, isn't it? So the devotee is very humble, no? So what does Haridas Thakur respond? He also challenges. Does he challenge? If my statement is correct, your nose will fall off? No, he does not challenge like that. He says, if my statement is false, yes, my nose will fall off. He says that, I agree. Come on, challenge. Of course, not in that spirit, but he says, this is shastrically correct. And then everybody becomes upset at Gopal Chakravarti. You fool, you don't know what you are talking about. Your so-called logic and so-called knowledge from scriptures cannot save you from offenses to a pure devotee. You can never understand the glories of holy name. And then they throw him away from that place. And then, within 3 days, this Gopal Chakravarti gets attacked with severe leprosy. His nose falls off. It is explained that he was so beautiful that his fingers, the toes and fingers are like the beautiful champaka kind of flowers, buds, but they all become affected with leprosy. And then everybody realizes the power of the holy name and the effect of blaspheming a pure devotee. So, you see, holy name, fleeing of dangers, even up to liberation, is actually an insignificant result of chanting the holy name. The actual purpose of the holy name is love of Krishna, in front of which all of this appear trivial. That's why, what's his name? Bilvamangal Thakur, the famous saying. What he says? Muktihi Mukhalitanjali Sevate Asman. For a devotee engaged in pure devotional service, this Mukti Devi does something. What is that she does? She is waiting at the doorstep, folding her hands, asking the devotee, what can I do? How can I serve you? That means liberation is nothing for a devotee. While everybody is aspiring for liberation, a devotee is not even thinking about it. Because devotional service, the platform of devotional service is the liberated platform. Where does it say in Bhagavad Gita? Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. Yes, very good verse. Another shloka from 14th chapter. Mamchayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. What is the meaning? If anybody avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate, if serves Krishna, serves me without deviation, that person sa gunan samatitya itan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One time we were doing Harinam Sankirtan. So I was distributing books. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. So this was Westerner. I was trying to sell Bhagavad Gita. I was explaining Bhagavad Gita. So he seems to be a seeker. He seems to have the understanding of the liberation and these kind of things. He said, can one get liberation by studying Bhagavad Gita? I said, yes, of course. So where does it say in Bhagavad Gita? So I showed him the shloka that we were discussing. Actually, that's 27th verse. I showed him the 20th verse, where it says similar verse, Gunanetan atityatrin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amrutam ashnute. So what it means is, if one does devotional service, he will transcend this gunan etan atitya. He transcends these gunas. And dehi, even though he is in this body, janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amrutam ashnate, he is considered liberated. He becomes liberated. And so he was saying, oh, he doesn't even have to give up the body. Yes, that's what Bhagavad Gita says. Even within the same body, he becomes liberated. Hey, how is it? Then I was reminded of this, the example Prabhupada gives. You know, this coconut, fresh coconut, and then there is, if you have seen in villages or in your hometowns, the coconut, there will be pile of coconuts, right? Not cut coconuts. There will be pile of them. Old, it became brownish, dry. And you take one coconut and you shake, what will happen? You can hear the inside the coconut, right? It becomes hardened and it has become separated from the shell. Anybody is observed? Right? So the acharyas give this example. So you are within the coconut, but you are not affected by the outside. You are completely disconnected from the outside layer. So even though you are within the body, you can become liberated, just like the shell within the coconut. The actual coconut has become separated from the outside layer. I sometimes also give this example of work from home. So you are not at office, you are at home. But by connecting to the office VPN, you are as good as in the office. Even though you are at home, by that connection, you have maintained your connection with the office. So like that, even though we are in this material body, so what in the morning Madhu Pandit Prabhu said, what is our connection? How do we get connected to the holy name? By our attention. That's the conduit. Just like the VPN is the conduit, connection for my home computer to the office. So likewise, we can get connected to the holy name and thus be liberated if our attention can be focused on the chanting of the holy names, hearing the holy names. This Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Namashraya Kori Yatane Tumi. Anybody knows what song is this? Namashraya kori yatane tumi thakaha apanakaje. Vibhavari Sesha. That's not the right answer. Same tune, different song. It starts with U. Udilo Aruna Puraba Bhage. What does it mean? Vijemani Gora Amani Jage. Udilo Aruna. At the rising of the sun on the east, Puraba Bhage, Vijemani Gora Amani Jage. The Lord has woken up. Bhakata Samuha Loya Sathe Gela Nagara Vraje. He has gotten hold of the Bhakata Samuha Loya Sathe. Saath leke gaya. Gela Nagara Vraje. Now let's all get up and go out and we can do that. So, but we cannot do that in this atmosphere and in this kind of setting. So we do that once in a month. So he's gone out and Tathai, Tathai. Tathai, Tathai, Baja Lokhol, Ghana, Ghana, Baje, Chajera Roll. So the holy name was accompanied by this kartal, Tathai, Tathai, and Khol, the Mridanga. So like that he was, it's a beautiful song, you should sing sometime. So there he says, Namashraya Kori means, what does it mean by that? In the final stanza of the song, Namashraya Kori Jatane Tumi Thakaha Apanakaje. Take shelter of the holy name, and Thakaha Apanakaje means you remain always engaged in his service. You always engage in the service of the Lord by chanting the holy name. So I'll stop here, even though they have not been ready. Become ready. Any questions or comments? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।